just get a round of applause for everybody that made this event happen. And another big round of applause for the sponsors that really made this happen in a very different way, because a lot of people here are here on the support of the ecosystem to make this event happen. Sponsorships, fellowships, scholarships, making sure we can all be here, have a place to stay, food to eat, and be comfortable to enjoy this time together. So big thank you for all the sponsors for their generosity. That's when we clap. So I'm going to get off the stage here in a second so you guys can hear from Malik from Encounter, and let's give him our full attention. And yeah, give him a big round of applause. Welcome to the stage. Let's kick this thing off. All protocols observed.
Good morning. Jumbo Jumbo. How are you? Did you sleep well? Yes. Did you have good breakfast? Yes. So before I start and talk about what we do at Encounter, I would want to take a quick minute and thank the organizers for pulling off such a great event. Thank all of you making the time, being here with us, interacting with us, working on your ideas, on your projects, and asking the parachains and the projects that traveled here really tough questions. So keep doing that. It's super interesting. It's nice interactions we have, and it helps us to improve on our protocols and on our ideas. So I hope you had a fantastic start in the morning. Me, I had a great start, and I'm looking forward to tell you a bit more about why Encounter exists and what we do at Encounter. So Encounter is a public good parachain in the Kusama ecosystem, and at that point I would also want to express our gratitude for the support we got from the Kusama ecosystem and all the parachains that are active in the ecosystem. Yeah, it's okay. So until the slides are ready, I want to ask, who here knows what proof of personhood is? Yeah, so a few hands go up, not many hands went up. So I try to explain it in a super simple manner. I mean, most of you are really active in the blockchain space. So again, a question, who here created already a wallet? Yeah, more hands went up. Yes, created a wallet. No, just no, not from scratch. Using one of the fantastic wallets that are around, or another one, and then just create your own wallet address where you can receive tokens at. So I think that was a lot of hands that went up there. Yeah. So who has more than one wallet? Okay, so many hands go up. Creating a wallet is not difficult. Creating a wallet is not expensive. And it's designed like that. So the idea of blockchain wallets is that you have many, and that you can use many. You can use one for a special context. You can use one to just put your savings in. You can use one to just receive a certain token. You can use one to share it with your DAO, and another one for you and your friends. At certain points, it makes sense to be sure that a wallet address belongs to a human being. Can you imagine why this could make sense? So people are nodding. Do you want to say why? So if you want, for instance, to introduce democratic voting, you want to make sure that one person gets only one vote. And at that point, you want to make sure that not a person that has 50 wallets can vote 50 times. And to assure that, this is called proof of personhood. So Encounter developed a system that other parachains in the ecosystem can use in order to make sure that a certain wallet address is only used by one human. There's different ways to do that. I imagine that some of you already did KYC processes. So in KYC processes, you would use your identity card, and with that, attest that the wallet you're using belongs to you. Now, if you have an identity card, you have to disclose your name, which you not necessarily always want to do. And secondly, if you don't have an identity card, you can't obtain the proof that you're a human, which is absurd. Because if I meet a person, I see this is a human. I don't need to see his identity card. And basically creating this proof of personhood is one of the hard problems that we need to solve in Web3. KYC is one approach. There are other approaches around. So there is a protocol that scans your iris, for instance. There's other protocols that use social networks or social graphs. They all come with advantages and disadvantages. We at Encounter, we use a very simple idea. So our simple idea that we use is what I told you before. When you see a human being, when you meet a human being, you can be sure that this person is human. So I see the slides are coming up, and then you will also see some visual support to what I'm explaining to you. So the idea that Encounter is implementing in its proof of personhood protocol is that as a human being, I can only be at one place at the same time. For me, it's impossible to be here giving a speech and at the same time be over there and talk to people. All right. So I see the slides are coming up. Let me see if I can. Slide 3, please. Yes. So I can't be here giving a speech to you and at the same time be in Zurich, where my home base is. And that's the idea. Pretty simple. Now to make sure that we can implement this proof of personhood across the globe, we provide you with a platform to launch your own community currency and perform these gatherings. So you can, wherever you're from, I've met a few people from Tanzania, I've had talks with people from Nigeria, I'm in contact with people from Uganda. So in each of these places, hyper-locally, you can start your own community currency and start distributing it with these physical gatherings. So these physical gatherings, they happen all 10 days at the same time globally. Next slide, please. So again, Encounter offers you a system so you can launch community currencies that work with that mechanisms, which offers a proof of personhood at the end to the ecosystem. Now, for you, next slide, please. In your local environment, what you can add as benefit is there's a lot of people that are unbanked. They don't have a bank account, but they have a smartphone. And Encounter includes you in the financial system. And not only includes you in the financial system by sort of giving you access to it, it goes one step further. It transports this idea that as every human being, we should not only be included in a way that we have access, but in a way that we have a certain amount of funds to interact. Next slide, please. So, how can you make sure that this works? In your community, you agree that you can meet up all 10 days. At the gatherings, you attest each other's humanity, and then the protocol rewards every person that attended with the community currency. The community currency that was created can then be used locally. So you can go buy foods from a local shop, or you can buy services from a local shop, which the community offers. Next slide, please. So for you, you can create a local currency that covers the local needs. The value keeps flowing. And by this, you create an identity that can be used in other contexts around the Polkadot ecosystem. Next slide. What we offer to the ecosystem is a cyber-resistant unique identity. We can enable democratic voting. And what we have experienced with our first communities is that we make Web3 more accessible. So more people get in touch with it, more people can access it because it's an easier, we lower the barrier of entering this system. Next slide, please. What we're currently working on is that besides the community currency that you created, that other currencies that live in the Kusama ecosystem can be distributed to people attending these gatherings and collecting the proof of attendance. So now parachains that want to increase their user adoption, they can load up a faucet and start dripping their tokens to verified humans. Not to botnets, not to people that created 50 wallets and profited more than others, but to humans. And the second thing that Encounter enables, next slide please, is the proof of personhood that you can use in other contexts. So you can validate your user account in a forum on social media. And that in a way where you preserve your privacy. So you can attest humanity to online presence without revealing, if you don't want to, your identity, if you don't want to, your funds that you're holding in your different wallets, or where you're based. Next slide. Encounter Association is a non-profit association based out of Zurich, and this is where we launched the first pioneer community. So Zurich Loi was launched last year in May, and I will give you a few insights afterwards of what we achieved and what we learned. There's more communities already being created and live on mainnet. So we have one in Kigali, Rwanda. I think Joab is also here. He kicked it off. So it's, yeah. Here he is. Big hand for Joab. So he can share also his experience with you afterwards. We have, since earlier this year, Green Bay in the United States live, created by Adam. And the parity team is starting one in Berlin. Now, those that are already thinking about developing one for their home country, what I wish for is the next time that I hold a presentation, I can point towards your communities on this map here. Next slide, please. So, we created the pioneer community in Zurich to experience this proof of personhood protocol that we developed ourselves, to see where there's friction and to make sure that our system is reliable. And you can believe me that at the beginning it was really tough. It was hard, and it took us a lot of energy to make it to the point where we are at the moment. Next slide, please. Now, I told you the proof of personhood protocol we use is built around physical gatherings where you attest each other's personhood or each other's humanity, because you can feel and see these humans. And this is how this looks in Zurich. No, yes, thank you. So you can see there's different people showing up, and I don't know if you can see it from back there. What makes me especially proud is that we reached a very diverse group of individuals. So we have young people, we have older people, we have men, we have women in our community. And I believe this is super important. And something that makes me, again, really proud of the organizers and you here is that I see so many women in the crowd. So maybe a hand for all the women in the crowd and active in the Web3 space in Africa. Next slide, please. This is how the... Next slide. Yes. So we have a few businesses that accept our community currency at parity with Swiss francs. So 1 loi is 1 Swiss franc, and you can go into a local coffee shop, buy a coffee with it, enjoy your coffee, and walk out again. For me, when I did that the first time, it was an amazing experience. And I can assure you that the coffee that I drank there tasted better, paid in with loi, than if I would have buy it with Swiss francs. Next slide. So what did we reach in this time since May? We have roughly 1,100 active devices. We have a community of a few hundred peoples. We have 36 cycles that we did already, and a monetary supply which is around 35,000 loi. So that's 35,000 Swiss francs. So 1 Swiss franc is a bit stronger than the US dollar, but you can say it's 1-to-1 to the US dollar. And what is super interesting is that more than half of this community currency is used in commercial transactions. So it is being used to buy services and goods locally. And this is what convinces businesses and people in Zurich to participate. For them, it is a digital currency that improves and promotes the local economy, that introduces the idea of basic income, and that strengthens the community locally. Right now we have more than 15 points of acceptance that are businesses that are selling food, the cafes, there's a shop where you can buy clothes, there's service providers where you can print stuff, you can get massages, you can go to a therapist, and it's growing. And this took time. So we started with 2 businesses, and then we had 2 businesses for a long time. And then we reached 5 businesses, and then we had 5 businesses for a long time. And we started this year with 5 businesses, and right now we're like at 515 plus, and the pipeline which is actually adding on a weekly basis more points of acceptance. Next slide, please. So I'm here to support you in creating your own community currency wherever you're based, to bring value to your community by using the Encounter system. I'm also here to discuss questions that are arising and especially address the topics around how that one can build such a protocol which is relying upon the web of trust in places where the trust among each other is not as high as in maybe you assume it would be in Switzerland. So, next slide. That would be my short and concise presentation to you of what Encounter does, what it does for the ecosystem with providing the proof of personhood, and how the parachain can use those proof of personhoods in their own chains, and how you, based up in other countries, can use our system to launch your own community currency to bring value into your local community. And before closing, super important remark. I know that crypto, blockchain, or Web3 is sometimes about, hey, buy this token and then you can sell it for more and then you get rich super quick. And I want to be super clear. Encounter is not about that. Encounter is about creating value in your community. So if you're about this, creating value in your communities, then we can have a conversation. Thank you very much for your attention and for being here with us, and I'm looking forward to more discussions and to all the presentations that are following after today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks for the amazing presentation. Any questions for Malik, real quick? We have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions before. Okay, Shai, and there's a hand up here. I couldn't not give Shai a chance. She's like chomping at the bit to ask about CICs. Come on. Are you ready? Yeah, this is going to be intense.
Thank you, Malik, for your amazing presentation. I heard half of it when I was having breakfast and the other half when I was coming here. So My name is Shaila, for everyone who doesn't know. And for 2.5 years, I worked in a community currency in Kilifi called Sarafu. It was being run by Grassroots Economics Foundation. And what I hear and what you're saying is resonating with me and is very like reminiscent of what I used to say as well. And I maybe just want to give you a little bit about my experience as well, running a community currency in Kenya. So I think it was so successful for you in Zurich because Maslow's hierarchy of needs have been met by most people in Zurich. They're not living hand to mouth. They can afford to get massages, which is maybe not the same situation in Kenya. So for me, I think my question would be, having maybe being introduced to a community currency in Africa, where the use case of money in Africa, or in Kenya in particular, in rural Kenya in particular, is a little bit different. Do you see the community currency as a solution in a small rural village where goods and services can be unlocked for usage when there is a society that is so dependent on externalities like gas and fuel to put in the boda and paying for a teacher who needs to also pay for a medical bill? So where the use cases are a bit different in, say, rural Kenya, how do you see, say, for instance, in Cointer, being this push to unlock these goods and services that are so needed? That's my first question. My second, only one per person? Okay, I'll ask you the rest later. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much, Shaila, and the hands for all her work that she has been doing. Really impressed with how much energy you gave into community currencies, and I think Sarafu is a very nice example of trying to unlock the potential and power of community currencies. Addressing your question is pretty simple. I don't know what challenges the communities outside of Zurich have. I can't know. I don't live in your environment. So basically, I give you the ball back. It's up to you to come up with solutions where you can see that the value can be created. And this is also the way we want to have our relationship. You community leaders in the different cities and areas, you're the experts. You know what you need. And we will listen to you. We will support you with what we can support you with, and support you as far as we can go. But it's up to you to find the solutions to that. And the examples you made, I mean, I had good conversations with Victor and Chucha, about that, especially if you're relying on external goods, that the local currency that you create is only complementary to the national one. And this is actually the same in Switzerland. The complementary currency that you create, the community currency, is not here to replace the Swiss franc or the Kenyan shilling or the Tanzanian shilling. It's here to complement it. And in the example you gave, you could use it for local services that do not rely on fuel. And with that, you have more disposable income, and you can transact more amongst each other, and with that, create more value locally.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Kelvin. Yeah, I just have a simple question. This is Sibyl. Just because Sibyl, like if you guys have seen the Sibyl, it's very important for anyone that is developing on the Web3 protocol, right? I want to understand how, like in your implementation, how are you going around the, like implementing the Sibyl part of it? That's what I'm interested in.
What's your name? Kelvin.
Yeah, I'm Kelvin.
Thank you, Kelvin. Big hand for him. So Kelvin's question was about the Sybil resistance, or Sybil resistance. So to give those that are not developers a little bit more context, Sybil attacks is the attack where you create a lot of different identities or a lot of different wallets, and then you attack a system with this. This is the Sybil attack. And Sybil resistance is a mechanism where you can avoid these attacks. And the mechanism that we use at Encounter is that as one person, you can be only at one place at the same time. So it's physical attendance. You can't hack that. Because let's assume somebody would want to hack this. If I send a robot, every human will see that's a human, that's a human, that's a robot, and that's a goat. So they will not get the proof that they are a person. And Cointer's protocol is the most secure amongst the ones that I mentioned beforehand. So there's social graph, there's KYC, there's iris scan, and all of them, they have advantages, but when it comes to security, you can't beat physical attendance, because we humans, we're physical beings, and you can really make sure that in this physical attendance, this is a human, and this is not a human.
We have a couple more minutes. We can take 2 more questions. We have them right here. David has a question. Come up on stage. Introduce yourself, ask your question.
Right, good morning everyone. David Lumala. I'm a software engineer by profession, particularly Web3. So, I'm from Uganda. I have concerns about 3 things. I'm going to condense them into one and give me, a clear answer. One is redeemability of what currency you create. One is redeemability of the currency you create. How transferable is it? And how to claim it. Suppose we are in Dot Safari right now. If we were to stay maybe 2 extra months, probably we want to, do something. Create a currency like you had Liu, something like that. Then, after the 2 months, what happens if I had accumulated that coin? Can I transfer, into K shillings or UGX or something like that? That is one. Then secondly, what happens beyond Dot Safari? Because it remains value, but I have to keep using it. Thank you.
So if I understood your questions right, David, your question was redeemability, in a sense of, if I create the local currency, we create it together, can I off-ramp it to other currencies to use in a different context? It's a very good question. Theoretically, it's possible because it's transferable and it's permissionless. I believe that community currencies that have a certain that reached a certain point, there will be a service provider that does that. They may offer you a possibility to exchange your local currency into the national currency at a haircut. The idea of the local currency, though, is that you use it locally. So you lose it locally to buy the goods and to keep the value in your community, and not that the value flows out of it.
We have time for one more quick question and one quick answer.
Okay, for an introduction, my parents named me Ray Allen. Yeah. So my question is, you might be building a currency for the locals, just the local community, but it's inevitable that one day it may become bigger than you imagine. Think about Bitcoin and how it started. It started with just a small community, and then it got bigger than what they imagined it could be. So it's in line with that. My question is, do you have any plans in the event that this happens, because it's inevitable? Do you have any plans to counter that? Think about the security issues that you may be involved with, the government and related things. Yeah, have you thought of that, and how can you handle that if it comes about? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we think a lot about how the system looks like when it grows really fast and really big. First, the transferability we were talking about beforehand. We believe that decentralized exchanges between the community currency can facilitate a lot of this off-ramping. So then you can sort of exchange the Nairobi token to the Mombasa token if you're going there, or even to the Zurich token if you're then heading to Zurich. That's basically how we ensure transferability. When it comes to regulation, we believe that it is important to comply to local regulations. So make sure that you're compliant with the local jurisdiction. Make sure that you're in contact with the people in your communities and present them the idea of what you're creating. In Switzerland, we have really clear regulations how local currencies are treated, and I believe that it will be in most states pretty similar, because you can define your currency as digital local currency. This is another class than the crypto tokens that we know. So go educate and go talk with your local regulators about the classification of the tokens.
Wow. What a fantastic presentation, Malik. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for Malik.
Thank you very much.
Guys, find him afterwards, dig in more. CICs are such a cool field, and it has so much application here, and there's a lot to be unlocked. And we have so many people here that are expert in this topic, from Malik to Shaila and others, I'm sure. So it'll be cool to have this conversation keep going. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So up next we have Ryan from Subwallet, but coming up to introduce him is Malik, also known as David. Before David comes up, just a quick housekeeping. At 11 o'clock, we're going to have the Polka panel starting down on the other stage down there, just there. So if you want to go for the Polka panel, that's going to be starting in a couple minutes. Otherwise, stay here and hear Ryan tell us about Subwallet. But David Maddox is going to introduce us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jason. Put those wonderful hands together for Ryan Dean. He's not just Ryan. He is a business developer. He's building Subwallet, a user-focused application, and he's got 10 years of experience in startups. So yeah, this is Ryan Dean of Subwallet. So jam those amazing hands as he comes on stage.
Yeah. And guys, as Ryan comes on stage, I got to remind you, there's a game that's going to happen, and it's serious, like real serious, meaning compensation, rewards. Pay attention. It's a Kahoot. Ryan's going to be taking us through it before lunch. And if you're not listening to the presentations, you're not going to have the answers. You're not going to get the rewards. You're not going to feel happiness. So pay attention.
Thank you very much, guys. For clarification, so actually the game is not only about Subwallet, but the game is about the whole ecosystem and about every one single projects that participate in this event. So there will be like a question and quiz about each single project that participate in this event, and that will be hosted on Kahoot, and the winners will have the chance to get rewards. Okay, so pay attention for that. So good morning, everyone. I'm a little bit nervous, so maybe give me a big clap, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm so excited to be here today. And thank you very much again, the Safari DAO team, to organize this wonderful, amazing event. This is my first time here in Africa and Kenya. And this is one of the best experience in my life. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm Ryan from SubWallet, and today I'm going to talk to you about our story, how we have to onboard more users to the Polkadot ecosystem. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk about three things. So firstly, I'm going to talk about the role of Web3 wallets in helping onboard users to a blockchain ecosystem. And after that, I'm going to talk about the problems of the Polkadot ecosystem in my point of view. Yes, I think the Polkadot ecosystem still have a lot of problems. And finally, I'm going to talk about SubWallet and how we are trying to help onboard the next billion users to the Web3 space and to the Polkadot ecosystem. Okay, next please. Next please. So we take some time to look at the concept of Web 2 and Web 3. So all of you here may know, right? So Web 2 is all about centralization, permission. You need to trust the big tech companies, and they own your data, they own your privacy, and so on. And in the Web 2 space, if you want to pay for something, you need to pay with fiat currencies, right? But in the Web 3, it's completely different from Web 2. So it's centralization. No single one person can control everything or decide everything. You own your data and you own your privacy. It is permissionless. So you can no one can stop you from getting into any blockchain ecosystem. And it is trustless. And another interesting about Web3 is that it has native payment. So every single transaction or every single interaction with the blockchain, you can pay with the cryptocurrencies. So in Web2, everyone needs to have the social account to interact with the Web2 applications. Right? You only have the email, you only have your Facebook account or Twitter account. But in the Web3, you need a wallet, a non-custodial wallet, to enter any blockchain ecosystem. So I would say that the non-custodial wallet, Web3 wallet, is the very first touch point, and it's the gateway for anyone to enter the Web3 space and to enter the blockchain ecosystem. Next, please. And just think about the Spider-Man. It's the Web3 wallet helping to onboard the users from the Web2 world to the blockchain ecosystem, right? So we need a Web3 wallet. Next, please. So we can look at the other ecosystem and see how Web3 wallets help onboard the users to those ecosystems. So for example, the Ethereum ecosystem, it was founded in 2013 and launched 2 years after that. And MetaMask was started in 2016. And its users base as of today, it's somewhere about 15 million users. But at its peak, about 1 year ago, in early 2022, it has about 30 million users. And another ecosystem is Solana. So it was exponential growth in the last bull run. So Phantom is the most popular wallet in the Solana ecosystem. And it started in 2021, in the very early 2021. And after like only 2 years, they got 3 million users and have onboard the users to the Solana ecosystem. Okay, next please. But let's look at the market potential and look at the Web3 adoption. So we don't have any exact statistics about Web3 wallet users, but I can say somewhere around like 50 million Web3 wallet users right now. But at the same time, we have 4.4 billion emails users. So the Web3 wallet users is about like 1% of the Web2 email users. So we can see a huge potential here. So especially in the future when the Web3 can go into the mainstream, so we can see a very huge potential and a lot of growth in the Web3 wallet users in the future. Next, please. Okay, now the problems of the Polkadot ecosystem. So a little bit about the history of Polkadot. You all know about that, right? So Gavin is the co-founder and the CTO of Ethereum and also the creator of the Solidity programming language, right? And he left to build Polkadot. And the first parachain on Polkadot was launched in the late 2021. Next, please. So the first problem of Polkadot is that its technology is amazing, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a problem. So it is a blockchain of blockchains. So we can see a lot of parachains. We have a lot of parachains team here, right, today. We can see a lot of solo chains built on top of substrate framework in the Polkadot ecosystem. So it's a blockchain of blockchains. And it is designed best to solve the blockchain trilemma, which is scalability, security, and decentralization. But at the same time, it is too complicated for end users to get into or even to understand, right? So because Polkadot is designed to be multi-chain, so there will be a lot of layer 1 blockchain built on top of that. So right now we have about like 80 plus live parachains on top of Polkadot and Kusama, and we can see maximum in the future will be 200. And not only the parachain, but also the substrate framework. It allows you to like build a blockchain on top of it. So in the future, we can see like thousands of substrate-based solar chain running in the ecosystem. So let's imagine an ecosystem with 200 parachain layer 1 and thousands of other layer 1 solar chain running. So it's very complicated, right? And also it has kind of many advanced technologies. So for example, the nominated proof of stake, right? And also this is something makes Polkadot decentralized. And also we have the XCM technology that allows you to like transfer your assets, your tokens, or NFT between like parachain to parachain without having to worry about security. It also have the best governance system in the blockchain ecosystems, in my opinion. And also it has substrate connect like client, which is also something very special and also makes Polkadot more decentralized. Next, please. So all of these things make Polkadot really complicated and not easy at all for the end users to understand. So what is this? This is the Solana ecosystem. Very simple, right? Next, please. This one is ETH, right? So it has many like layer 2 blockchain, right? But next, please. Okay. This is a Polkadot ecosystem. It's very complicated, right? Very, very complicated. Next, please. So how we are trying to do to solve those problems and to help onboard users to the Polkadot ecosystem. Next, please. We are trying to like solve the users' pain points. So actually, the story of subwallet begin when we like founded and operate the Polkadot community in Vietnam. We talk about Polkadot technology and many things, but the community often complain that they cannot find any like very good and user-friendly wallet as compared to other ecosystem like MetaMask in the ETH and also Phantom in the Solana ecosystem. And it's also our pain point. So we decided to do that. So we have amazing UI UX. We are absolute secure and fully open sourced on GitHub. We try to like, we support multi-chain for sure for the Polkadot ecosystem, right? But we try to like design the UI UX as simple as single chain. We offer, back please. We offer a homogeneous experience across multiple platforms like desktop and mobile. And we have a lot of features. So we can like, you can do everything inside the wallet, like NFT management, crowd loan management, multi-chain assets management. You can do also in-app staking. You can also connect with your hardware wallets and so on. Next, please. Okay, so at the moment we support about like 150 networks in the ecosystem. So I believe we support all of the parachains here. So the user can like manage their tokens inside the wallet. Next, please. And we are adding more and more continuously. You can manage your multi-chain assets. You can, next please. You can send and receive your asset with a few simple taps with the QR code and so on. Next please. You can also track your cloud loan activities. So you can see how many like DOT, how many Kusama you contributed to your project, and you can see the status of the project is winning or not. Next please. You can also manage your NFT. So you can view your NFT, you can transfer it to another address as well. Next please. We also support in-app staking. So right now we support like 20 Pi networks in the ecosystem. So you can like choose your validator or collators. You can delegate your token. You can unstake. You can withdraw your tokens anytime you want on desktop, on mobile, anywhere. Next, please. And also XCM is something very special about about Polkadot, and we also support XCM transfer. So right now we support like 50 channels from like Polkadot to like Moonbeam to Akala to ASTAR and so on. Next, please. We also support like fiat on-ramp feature, so you can buy your cryptos from fiat currencies. And we are working with the other fiat on-ramp service providers so that they can support more and more assets in the Polkadot ecosystem. We are also EVM compatible. So like if you have your MetaMask account, you can import it into subwallet and you can manage your EVM assets, you can manage your subtrade assets, you can manage your Polkadot and parachain assets inside one single wallet. And that should be very like convenient for you, right? We also care about users' security, so we support hardware wallets connection. You can connect your ledger, you can connect your parity signer, you can connect your keystone, and you can interact with the DApps without having to like import your seed phrase because it is stored in your offline wallet, very skilled. Next, please. And also we support phishing detection. Next, please. And just as I said earlier, we support desktop and also mobile. And you can, next please. You can also like, next please. You can also like sync your account between desktop and mobile with the QR signer feature. So when you sync your account between desktop and mobile, your assets will automatically show on your mobile wallet, and you can manage anywhere on the go, right? And we are 100% non-custodial. We don't track any users' activities, or we don't track any users' data and so on. Okay. And again, we come back with this picture. So think about the Spider-Man. So and this is the vision, the mission that we are trying to do, is to have like onboard the users, Web 2 users, to the Polkadot ecosystem. Next, please. Okay, that's about sub wallet. And actually, the team, the Safari DAO team, asked me to give another speech about research in the Polkadot ecosystem, but I'm gonna give it very quick because I want to save time for other speakers. So this is Dot Insights, actually data platform and research hub that we are trying to do, also by the sub wallet team. This is also from our pain point when we see that the Polkadot ecosystem is very fragmentation in data and also research, and there is no like reports out there that can dig into layer 1 parachain and also layer 2 DApps and provide the users with a very deep insight about what is going on in the ecosystem. So that's why we decided to build Dot Insights. Next, please. So what we offer with Dot Insights, firstly, the Polkadot Deep Dive quarterly reports that can provide you like the overview of the Polkadot ecosystem and also what is going on inside the ecosystem, like in the layer 1 and layer 2 DApps. And also we collect the data from every single teams in the ecosystem. So we can say that those data can be like trusted and correct information about what we offer in the reports. Next, please. Next, please. Not yet. Okay, and another thing is that we building the ecosystem map of Polkadot and Kusama, and right now it is listed about like 500 and more projects that are building in the ecosystem, building in Polkadot, building in Kusama and other parachains, solo chain in the ecosystem, and it is by categories. So we have like DeFi, we have NFT, marketplace, smart contracts, data, IoT, and so on. So in the future, we hope we can get more like on-chain data real time into the website. So you can see things like TVL, how many active accounts, transactions, and so on, and also governance on-chain data into the website. So it can help you to have better insights about the ecosystem. Next, please. And this is, you can scan if you want to visit Dot Insights to have a look. And next, please. Yeah, we also a member of the Substrate Builders Program. And actually, we didn't generate any revenue ourselves. So we got funded by the Polkadot treasuries 3 times, I think. 2 for the extension browser and 1 for the mobile app. Next, please. And this is my favorite saying. Web3 is here and now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just a final slide. We have a gift for you guys. The very customized Polkadot Safari NFT, and also a D app that built by ourselves. Those NFT will be minted on WebAssembly and Ink smart contract standard. And all of the attendees today will be able to mint the NFT. And with this, we try to bring you the real and authentic experience of Polkadot. Thank you very much again. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Do we have any questions for Ryan? What a great presentation. If you have questions, come on up and ask your question. We'll give you the mic. Come on up. 3 questions. We have time for just these 3. Make your questions quick, please. And make your answers also quick, because we have a bit of a backup on the agenda. So, yeah, let's hear.
Sure, I'll just be really quick, Ryan. My only question is NFTs and the integration of NFT visibility in the mobile app, right? That's been something that not even MetaMask has been able to do properly. Have you guys been able to solve that? And are you able to view Ethereum NFTs in the Subwallet app?
Okay, thank you, James, for the wonderful questions. So yes, actually we now support EVM, so you can view your substrate, let's say substrate NFTs and also EVM NFTs inside the wallet. So if you have your NFT on Ethereum, on Binance Smart Chain, we support that. We are also working to support other EVM ecosystem as well. So to in order to view your NFT inside the wallet, there are 2 ways. The first way is that we add support ourselves. So it will automatically show if you have that NFT. Another way is that you can add it yourself manually. So right now we support adding the NFT manually in the EVM networks. So you can add it just like you add your new tokens with a smart contract address. But it's not possible in the Substrate and Polkadot ecosystem yet. So we need to add ourselves in order for you to view the NFT on Polkadot and Substrate. But actually we are working on that solution. So later on in the future, if you have your Polkadot or Substrate NFT, you can add it manually using the smart contract address, just similar to what you do on Ethereum. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Kakoza Vianney, and I have 2 questions. The first one is, have you ever thought of something like an NFC chip? I think most of the wallets, they are kind of complicated to normal people who have their phones. So maybe those seed phrases, someone can just come, open up a wallet, and you give him an NFC chip. Wherever they come, they just sweep it on their phone to use the wallet. That's the first thing. Then the next question was about, you talked about staking. So I've been recently doing much about staking with Polkadot, and I found out that you need to stake 1 DOT for a start. But then getting revenue, I used Talisman, and the minimum Polkadot you needed to buy to have dots in your wallet was 5. And each dot was about $6 point something. Now that's about $35 or so. So to just start using, transferring around the ecosystem using the sub-wallet, talisman, and anything in Polkadot, why do I need to put in such amount of dollars? I would think, have you people thought of maybe something like small? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. What's your name again, please?
My name is Kakoza Vianney, Web3 enthusiast, computer science graduate.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, those very hard questions for me. So the first one is about making it more simple for the normal user when they enter the blockchain ecosystem, because at the moment, like seed-free, private key is something still very complicated for them to understand, right? So there is another technology in the ecosystem, in the ecosystem is account abstraction and smart contract wallet. I'm not sure if maybe Nova is also doing research about that. And we are doing research about that and trying to like have it available in the Polkadot ecosystem. And with this, we can get rid of the difficulty of using seed phrase or forget about your seed phrase and so on. So hopefully this is something can solve this problem. But I think it takes time for development. And also the second question about why make it hard for user to enter the Polkadot ecosystem, because they need to buy dot, right? So for staking, actually normal staking, they need 10 dots, right? 10 or 20. That's the normal one. Yeah, that's too much, right? But with the nomination pool staking, you can stake with only 1 dot. And you can go to like staking dashboard of Polkadot. You can connect sub-wallet, Nova wallet. You can connect talisman to stake just 1 dot. But 1 dot still $6, right? If you want to like experience the Polkadot ecosystem without having to like spend $6, you can think about other parachain. So I remember ASTAR has a faucet, right? For that, so you can like go to the ASTAR postal, you can connect the wallet, and you get some faucet, some ASTAR token, and you can play around. Also, other ecosystem like Aleph Zero and so on, they have the faucet for you to test it. So it's very simple. You don't need to spend any money on that. Yeah, that is my answer.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sabi Mohammed, and I'm the business development for Bitkova Academy, which is an educational platform in Nigeria. So my question is, I have been wishing and hoping that someday I would interact with people like you, because I have this idea. People stake like huge amount of money inside non-custodial wallets, and we know life, it is about sometimes things happen and the owners of the wealth or the asset tends to die, and sometimes unfortunately the next of kins or people that will inherit them will have difficulty accessing that of kind of money, because some people are not comfortable sharing their seed phrase with their families and things. So I don't know, is there any way that you people are making it possible for a next of kin to claim the asset of a deceased, or maybe some kind of mechanism? I'm thinking if you can maybe develop a smart contract that, okay, after like 10 years, if this wallet stay inactive, or maybe when the person open a wallet, now you connect it to a wallet of a next of kin, so that maybe after 20 or 15 years, this wallet is active, then remove all the asset from this wallet that has been inactive, and then transfer it to the wallet of the next of kin, something like that, so that we can have people circulating their money instead of just getting the money stocked for nothing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a very good idea. Well, so firstly about smart contract wallet that I also mentioned above. So it allows you to like have the social recovery method. So if you forget about your seed phrase, you still be able to get your account back with a social recovery method. That's the first thing. And also, but at the same time, I think we need to like balance between making it simple and easier for the users to use, but still we can keep the core values of Web3. So I believe the concept of Web3 is completely different from Web2. So in Web2, you don't have to do anything. You can forget your password and you can get it back very simple with an email, right? And it makes you lazy. But in the Web3, you are the ownership of your data and you are the owner of your privacy and so on, right? So in the Web3 space, you need to approach it in a very different way, and you need to like get used to with that concept, and you need to like know that in the Web3 space, you owe your own action, your own data, your own privacy, and so on. So I think it's not easy. This is a good idea, but we need to think about how to balance between the core values of Web3 and also how to make it simple for your users.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Ryan.
Thank you.
We have one lightning round question. He has 5 seconds to ask and 15 seconds to answer.
Okay,
You
thank you,
ready?
thank you.
Lightning round. Here we go.
Hello. What's the future for the Web3? Like, are we going to see the chains go offline? For example, the USSD. Why has it taken so long before the Web3 has developed a simplified USSD wallet, whereby we just have a token you just use for just that basic Kenyan who maybe doesn't have that fast internet? Can this parachain go offline into a USSD wallet?
Can we do that? Can the parachain go off if we don't have internet and the parachain still in operation? Can we do that? Okay, so I don't have the answer for this, but we need to think about it together, right, to solve the problem.
That's actually the best segue I think I've ever heard, and you didn't even mean it to be a segue, because so first off, let's thank Ryan for a really wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much.
As a multi-sig wallet user on Substrate, I can tell you I'm looking forward to a better user interface. So I was speaking about segues. Why am I speaking about segues? Because starting now, a little bit behind what we had said, is the Polka panel over on the other stage. And Felix from Katani Pay, they're actually doing on-off ramping via USSD. So exactly the case that we're talking about. You don't have a smartphone, you don't have internet, can you still access any of these tools? So maybe there's some interesting things to discuss over there. And coming up on this stage, we have Pavel from Gear Network. So head over if you want to hear George Masomi and Felix Macharia from Katani Pay on the Polka panel stage. And here we have Pavel from Gear Tech.
Thanks a lot. Oh, really? No? Yes? Amazing. Let's check if it works. Yeah, it works. Amazing. So guys, yeah, that's good. So thanks a lot, guys, for joining here. That would be my first barefoot speech. Thanks you guys from Safari DAO for that. I also was willing to do it in shorts, but thought it was too much. So let's keep it just one thing at a time. Okay. Today, I think that we had a lot of time of speed datings and conversations about gear, what we do, and how we improve that. So I will try to take it a little bit fast in a way, because also we like the other speakers should be going. We're running out of time a little bit, but let's go. First of all, guys, I know that you already have to claim a lot of NFTs. So one question: raise your hands, the ones that have substrate addresses now with you. Did you open it? Okay, if you don't open it, just fast advice: either download Subwallet or Nova Wallet and open at least a Kusama account, because you will need it now. So, what Gear protocol is, because sometimes there's a confusion between what Gear is, what Vara is, and what we do. What we developed is a protocol that allows you to deploy easily a smart contract agent or a blockchain solution as its own, a layer 1 solution, or as a parachain to Kusama or to Polkadot. Think it like a substrate is a framework that Parity gives to deploy blockchains with different type of options, palettes that you can add. This would be one that you can just deploy as your own blockchain with already pre-built palette that would be our agent that is based on 3 main pillars: the actor model, WASM, and the persistent memory. What it does and how it works. The actor model is something not unique for us. It's something that used a lot in the Web 2 world. It's used for high frequency parallel computation. Actually, we're not even the first to bring it into the blockchain space. The first ones were Definity. They use it for decentralized computation. I would say that we are the first ones to use it as we are using that in combinations and that are giving the result that we want. That is faster and scalable blockchain. How the actor model works. Actually, it brings a little bit a new concept and the whole idea into the system, how everything works inside the blockchain, meaning that doesn't matter who you are. Are you a user? Are you a program? Are you a bridge? Everything is an actor and have equal properties. And the information is passing between these actors through messages, which means that you as a user can send a message to program. That's normal. You can generate a program. That's also normal. Everybody does that. Every blockchain can do that. Then a program can send a message to another program. That's also quite common. The program can generate a new program. This is a little bit already tricky situation that starts. And then the interesting thing is that the program can send a message to a user. And depending on the result of this message, the program can change its state, can change and do some other stuff. This is unique for us, unique for the actor model that we're using. And that means that actually we have a messenger by design itself, meaning that through this portal, for example, it's port idea, we'll talk a little bit later about that, you can receive messages, send messages to programs, mutate programs. But at the same moment, you can actually send a message to other person just saying hello, knowing just his substrate address. It's actually something that Sumi Network is trying to do for the whole .sum ecosystem. We have it by design. We didn't even thought about that, but when they talk about their parachain and their idea, we said, okay, we already can do it. And we're actually also speaking a lot with the guys from Subwallet and Nova Wallet to add that feature into their wallets. So when you are sending the message to a person, you can also attach, sending, let's say, a transaction to a person, you can also attach a small message. Thanks a lot, or hello. And then you can also do something more interesting, just send a message to them. Or as a next stage of that, you can actually speak with the programs that you are deploying through your wallet. Let's say if you have an NFT, that could be a mutable NFT, that could be like a Tamagotchi, where you can play and he asks you something and you come back to him. And you can do that and manage everything through your wallet. Okay, can we, I don't know, screen a little bit, okay, no more. The clicker got broken a little bit. So, we also use the WebAssembly virtual machine. Why? Because it's the fastest way how you can actually compute bytecode and move forward. Actually, this is a small comparison, not done by us, done by the Open Application Network, EVM versus WASM. I will not stay too much on that. I will just explain something quite easy. Two things. First of all, Vitaly Buterin is like 3 months ago was talking about that they're thinking also to make a mixture of the virtual machine of Ethereum and WASM. Second, we know that the person that invented the Ethereum virtual machine is Gavin Wood. When he went to Polkadot and to Parity and designed his own blockchain, he started using also WASM. It's faster, it's more reliable, it gives you more options of computer languages to be compiled into it. Persistent memory. It's something also that we took from the Web 2 space and brought into the blockchain space. This a tool that allows you not to think a lot about how to manage the memory of your programs inside the blockchain. We actually do it for you, meaning that we are simplifying everything to practically 2 commands. The message that you send to a program and the message that you receive from the program. This is what you have to handle while coding on us. So, as I said before, we could be deployed as a standalone network, and this is Vara. something that we are practically ready to launch. We're on the test nets now. Mostly sure we'll launch a decentralized test net so people can run some applications and examples on us, see some things, is it working, not working. We also could be deployed as a parachain to Kusama, and also the same could be done as a parachain to Polkadot. But what is the Vara network? Vara network would be, as I said, a standalone network, would be fast, would be scalable. We also would use something, thanks to the ASTAR model, the whole idea of the parallelism, so we can actually parallel a lot of computation that makes it even faster and more scalable. We'll have a stable runtime upgrade, as we're based on Substrate. And we obviously will have the option of fast and nice governance. We're actually using governance 2.0 that actually is done on Kusama now. The difference is, we said before that when we're using the ASTAR model, we can enable to do asynchronous messaging. What's that? If we see that in the applications that we're used to in the Web 2 world, they're actually a lot of they're asynchronous, by the way. What synchronous is, what asynchronous is. Synchronous is that when you write a code and the execution is done, you have to do it step by step until everything is not executed. You cannot go to the next step. In the asynchronous one, you can actually make that something is done in the back, and you can go to the next stage if that doesn't implies the answer of the previous point. To make it much easier, when you upload a video into YouTube, for example, you have to put the description of the video, the name of the video, the description of the video, upload the video, and then you will get the URL. So in the synchronous way, when you're uploading the video, you cannot do anything else till the video is uploaded. If we talk about asynchronous stuff, once the video is starting uploading, you can already receive this URL, send it to your friend, change the description, do whatever you want, and the video is still uploading in the back. So it's really user-friendly. It gives you a lot of freedom. It makes things faster. Also, if we're talking about blockchains, we need to understand that in practically all the blockchains, all the computational information should be done in one block. If it's not done inside this one block, then all the transactions is going back. So if you want to build more complex solutions than just a binary smart contract, that means that you either have to do something off-chain and have a backend that will be pulling this information to the blockchain to the smart contract execute the next stage, or you will have problems on that. So with us, it's not a problem, as thanks once more back to the persistent memory. The states of the program are always persistent, meaning that if you have to do something like A plus B, wait the answer from C, and then do the result to D. In the normal blockchains, either it's done in one block, or you have to have an oracle that will ping with the information of C. With us, you just compute A plus B, put the answer into the blockchain. When the information of C comes, you compute it, you do the result, and send it to D. That actually doesn't cost you too much and speed up a lot of the processes. All that in complex, as I told you before, allows us to generate new and interesting and more sophisticated programs, real programs that will be run on blockchain. One of them is a more complex NFT. An NFT with which you can actually, as I said, like a Tamagotchi, you can interact. He can ask you something, say, look, I'm hungry. You say, okay, there's another NFT in this marketplace, it's a hamburger or a beer, I will send it to you. And depending on the result, what you send of your interaction, then he can change a mood, he can evolve, he can disevolve, he can do whatever you want. So, and actually this NFT will also be teaching now in our academy. When the people will go through this academy, at the end of the day, you will have to build something like that step by step. Also, that gives a totally new focus onto the gaming stuff. Because if somebody of you have ever played, did anybody of you played on-chain games? Okay, great. If you play that on-chain games, you have to know that if you go want to make a play, it should wait till all the players will finalize this his move, then all the thing will be computed, and then just once more we will be able to do the next step and wait for everybody. So they're not dynamic, they are quite difficult. A lot of them are actually using a back end to make the whole computation and put just the result on chain, because otherwise it's too expensive. So all that also could be changed thanks to our architecture. You can actually be moving at any moment. You don't need to wait the result of the other person to do it. And then when the state is changed, you will see all the results. Vara for DeFi. That's also an interesting point, because if you want to have a DEX that actually, we know that, I don't want to get a lot of into the philosophy, what's better, a SEX or a DEX or whatever, but DEX still is lacking a lot of functionality. For example, it's really nice to make a transaction and put an order saying like, I want to buy, let's say, DOT at certain price. Or when something happens, please close my position or just swap it into a different way. That's, to have an order book is also interesting. To have a liquidity pool is also interesting from different DEXs, for example. All that could be built on top of the blockchain with full transactions. Thanks to the delayed orders, you can actually put these orders in place at the same moment that you put your trade. At the same moment, you have a push-up notification that once it's done, will send you the information your order was completed or part of your order was executed. And all this will be totally on-chain without any backend. How to run these D apps? We also built some portal that's called Idea, on which you can actually, it's easy to access. You go into the web page gear.tech.io, go to developers, then you will see deploy, click there, and you will go into this portal. In this portal, you have, once you connected your wallet, you'll have the option to see all the messages that's coming back and forward with the programs that you're having, all the programs that you executed. You can actually see even all the programs that are on the blockchain, and you, if you like some of them, you can just copy that program and run it once more. And additional to that, you will also have an option to see a lot of examples that could be easily deployed and done on us. About the Gear Academy, I also told a little bit about that. We are launching this Gear Academy. It's like a further duration already. We spoke with different universities, different students, get feedback, go back and forward. So now we are presenting it to you guys. If you want to do it, be happy. As I told you previously, the first ones that will be completing that with a score of 85 and more will receive like a learn-to-earn program, 100 USDC as a reward. But we also will encourage a lot of feedback from you so that we can improve that and make it better and easier for people. Why we want to do it? We want to scale adoption. The same as Ryan was saying, that we still need lack of people, and not just in the .sum ecosystem. If we will see these statistics, there's about 18,000 commits a month in the GitHub related to cryptocurrencies and blockchains, everything together. And then there is 2.2 million of developers that actually codes on Rust. And there is 20 million of developers that codes in languages that are compilable to Wasm. And there is like, I don't know how much is, like 31 million of developers that actually is full stack developers that could easily join this ecosystem. So if we'll not make this open path to them, to make it fast and easy and streamlined, what we will have is small teams that will be just going from one blockchain to another, trying to copy the same things that we are having, deploying there, receive some grants, and feel happy about that. But the end users are not happy. So in order to have better UX UI, in order to have more applications, more straightforward things, we need to bring these people into this ecosystem. New ideas, new fresh blood. And this is why we're doing the Academy. This is why we're doing a lot of examples which allow you to build your application like Lego block construction, one on top of another, so it would be easy and fast. For example, we have a DAO example there that we actually were tricking the person how fast he can do it based on our wiki. And actually he did it in 6 minutes, from zero to have a DAO and voting process. To have an NFT marketplace, it took him around 13 minutes. To mint 2 NFTs, to generate one analogy of ERC20 token, to buy and sell, and add some DEX stuff there. So projects that are integrated and built on Vara that we are launching, that's practically everybody in the .sum ecosystem. We had an option and the pleasure to work with them, have discussions, cooperate together. You'll have wallets, you will have oracles, you will have actually NFTs things, Crust as an IPFS storaging, everything that the person needs to start building on top of this blockchain or with all the tooling around that. So we also launched an ambassador program because it's really difficult to do something to take that voice around if you're just alone. So we help and we expect the community, because actually the community was asking us like, do you have the ambassador program? Do you have an ambassador program? We're like, not now, we don't think so. Some legal stuff and things like that. So when we launched it, we had a nice approach. We see people that wants to help us to make events, meetups, to spread the word in social media. Some of them wants to make translations and stuff like that. We're really open and for everything. So guys, if you want to help us, please join it and we'll be with you. We'll give a lot of education for the people, especially the ones that want to make meetups and workshops, because we consider that they need to be able to explain that well. We cannot just do it like, okay, go and do a meetup just because to have some pictures and photos somewhere else. No, we actually work with them, we explain them, we want them to record some videos before, we want them to see how they're doing it, answering the questions, so they will be really knowledgeable about what they're saying. These are the links that we're having. If you want to have there's a contract examples, this are all the examples that we're having, and they're actually all the time adding more and more stuff. We have the GitHub, obviously, we're totally open sourced. Our Twitter account of Gear, our Discord, where we can discuss a lot of stuff there. Our developers actually talking daily about what they're doing. We have our Vara webpage and Vara Twitter. Both of them are the best places to find newses, events, workshops, what we're doing, meetups, where we are. And obviously, an NFT. If you didn't manage to have this t-shirt, where you can actually scan this and it will bring you to a page about the news and you can claim your NFT. You can also try to do it for this QR code directly. It's all yours. And if you still want to have some t-shirts, we still have few of them here. So once this conversation, my panel will stop, you're really welcome to come and grab one of these t-shirts. Once this event will finish, we'll keep the claim button from the web page, and this will just remain a lot of pictures and stuff like that about what happened, so it will be a nice remembering where you get the t-shirt. Let's keep it like that. Thanks a lot, guys, for your time. It's literally a pleasure.
Thanks, Pavel. That's a really nice presentation. Do we have any questions for Pavel? If you have questions for Pavel, raise your hand, come on up, and you can ask your question. In the meantime, I want to direct your attention to Polkadot Safari features some baby geese or ducks drinking from the watering hole. How often does that happen at a blockchain conference? Doesn't. No questions?
I thought I made it so clear or nobody understood anything.
Thank you so much. I just have one question. I think Gear Tech is a very good technology, but you people are running so fast. So the YouTube tutorials are kindly not matching with the GitHub repos. Like, it is hard for you to, it seems, for example, when you make a tutorial on how to make a DAO, when you follow through with the GitHub, it seems there has been just a new repo. So maybe anything like always reviewing. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Yes, we are having now, like, we had several videos before on how to do it, so it will be step-by-step coding, but we had to take it a little bit back just because the protocol changed, and as it's still evolution, it's not launched yet. There was several changes in the protocols and APIs and stuff like that, so we took back that video. Mostly sure we will be shooting new videos and code along during the next 2 months. So when the network will be launched, already stabilized, it will be much easier to already to run the video, so we'll not change stuff. And that also the videos will be added to the Academy, because in the Academy for now, it's more like written text, it's explanation step by step, but you don't have this video guidance. We will add them, that's true. That's great. Thanks a lot for that.
We have a couple more questions.
Thank you, Pavel. I heard you speak of Joab from Kigali, Rwanda. I'm a Polkadot ambassador. Yes, I'm actually an ambassador for G as well. So I would love to ask you, speak of interacting with an NFT that would actually tell you there is another NFT in a market that would actually get you forward. If I heard you correctly, does that mean there is an element of AI?
No, when we were talking about that, you can actually mix two NFT. If I got it well, because sometimes the microphone is not so good here. If you're talking about the mixture of two NFTs in one, then if you buy, let's say, one in the marketplace and then you give it to the interactive one something, the idea of the interaction that the NFT is having with you, it depends on the code that was written in the beginning of that NFT. So it's not like you're adding an AI, so it's all the time evolutioning by himself. In theory, that could be done. We don't play on that yet. But what's done is that you just write a special code depending on the results of what's happening. It's just evolutioning by itself, like any program or any game that you will be having.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Pavel, for the opportunity. I'm Madux by name. I'm a business developer, and I love the technology stack in which Gear Technology uses. But something that's very interesting to me is how does GearTech make money? How do they generate revenue? Something of that nature. So how does GearTech generate revenue, or are they a common good parachain?
No, we're not a common good parachain.
Okay.
As we're having a token, actually. So as any blockchain, when you want to use it, you will have to pay fees for that, for gas and all the stuff. So that's actually one of the ways how GearTech will benefit. The second way is actually, obviously, we had some investment in the beginning, and we have investors that back up us. So that's the second way, how we have money and how we live. And this is the main two things, actually. And as a foundation, as we have now the Gear Foundation, that acts as in charge of managing the Gear protocol and all the networks that's down there. We have also the option of some tokens that could be staken in the foundation, and that also just some revenues.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Big round of applause for Pavel.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks. Oh, very cool. So up next we have Ben from ASTAR. Come on up, Ben. Let's get some excitement. As Ben comes up here, let's take a quick moment. We've been hearing about some very interesting things this morning. Everybody take a moment, stand up, stretch your legs, stand up with me. And we're just gonna take like a big deep breath and like listen to the beautiful sounds around us and get centered as we prepare for this next talk. Let's do like 10 seconds, just quiet breathing, starting now. 10. 5. Man, those birds sound nice, huh? It's really nice to be here with you guys learning about Polkadot ecosystem in this beautiful setting. So I'm going to give the mic to Ben. He's going to tell us all about ASTAR Network. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, yeah, thanks. Awesome.
At the bottom button.
Yeah, all right. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. Just the first word, I'm very happy, actually, to see this event happen. I've been following the Safari DAO team since the event actually idea emerged, and this is just amazing to see you all guys here from everywhere from Africa. Very happy to be here amongst you. So just a few words about me. So yeah, I'm Ben, known as BLD Online. Basically, I'm a DevOps engineer for ASTAR Network. If you don't know what is DevOps, just think about the guy who managed the infrastructure. But I'm also a developer, and you're actually host to introduce you to ASTAR Network today. First of all, I'd like to ask a question. Who of you knows about ASTAR Network? Like, what is it, ASTAR Network? Can you raise the hand? All right. So this is perfect fit. I'm going to introduce you ASTAR Network from the beginning. But no worries, I won't be very long. So our motive is that ASTAR, we wanted to represent the future of smart contracts for multi-chain especially. I'm going to get to it. So first of all, yeah, ASTAR is an infrastructure blockchain because we are a smart contract blockchain. Just like Ethereum in the beginning, and now many and many more smart contract blockchains are emerging. What is particular about ASTAR is that we support both environments. So the EVM that everyone knows on Ethereum and the WebAssembly one. WebAssembly is the basis of, let's say, of Polkadot right now. It's universal standards that should develop for the web itself, and that is very compatible for many applications. What's particular about ASTAR here is that we support the communication between those two environments in the same chain. So it means inside ASTAR network, you're able to communicate the WASM native, let's say, Polkadot environment with the EVM Ethereum environment, right? Through the function that we call, the module, sorry, that we call the XVM, so the cross-chain VM. The cross VM, sorry. I'm getting confused. Yeah. Why am I here is the ASTAR network is not meant to be only accessible to Web3 developers. What we believe in is, as Pavel just said, we have a lot of Web2 developers today, and that's actually a large population that we want to onboard easily on ASTAR network. So it's made for both people who know Web3 development, but also developers of Web2 applications or any kind of application, any language they know, thanks to WebAssembly. All right. And so as a parachain of Polkadot, ASTAR allows you actually to build smart contracts that can communicate with multiple chains. So that's why we call it a multi-chain smart contract environment, which means when you build a smart contract, you will be able to interact with all the parachains of the Polkadot ecosystem. All right, so let's dive a bit into that. First, I'll introduce you to the few challenges that we face today and the solutions we want to bring. Oh, sorry, I got an echo here. In ASTAR network, a particularity of ASTAR network is the Japanese market advantage. Hello, yeah. And finally, we'll conclude. Oh, let's go. I have a bit of a problem to display the slides of the challenge here. Yeah, seems to be about the screen. We'll be back in a few seconds. Yeah. Is that too powerful presentation? Yeah, exactly. All right. So the problem we notice and that we actually want to solve at ASTAR network. Very first one is like concept of multi-chain until now has been to reproduce the same environment, basically Ethereum, and to copy-paste the smart contract on any EVM compatible chain. So name it, Avalanche. Recently there were, oh, I even forgot about the name. I didn't get the airdrop from them. I don't know how many. I think we have dozens, maybe hundreds now of EVM compatible chains, which can all manage, smart contracts. But what is interoperability that we talk about today is just basically copy and paste the smart contract code. So while this could be efficient for a smart contract, actually, for the smart contract itself, the smart contract may be perfect, but the user experience is actually not very good. Oh, yeah, thanks. So yeah, that was just what I was saying. It's bringing, many silos and that degrades the user experience. It means if you have a main project which has its application on Ethereum, and you want to do the same on the BSC, the Binance Smart Chain, you have to switch to the Binance Smart Chain, and they don't communicate together other than bridges, right? So the user experience is not great in this case, right? Second problem is that the EVM, this virtual machine, has many limitations. It has been built many years ago, and actually it's been built very quickly, and we just noticed with time all the flaws and the limitations it has, especially technically. So Ethereum is also losing some support as a primary smart contract development language. I'm thinking especially about Solidity language. Why? Because many new projects like Solana, like Near, like now Polkadot with ASTAR and different chains have set some new standards, and many people are jumping to these standards. So Ethereum tends to be less and less the reference smart contract. Yeah. Last problem is developers are paying a very high cost to actually develop their application and make it run. Makes it hard for a team who is developing, a blockchain application, a decentralized application. It makes it hard for them to be sustainable, other than running a token sales and everything you have behind. So, what ASTAR is bringing as a solution about this. So, in a nutshell, ASTAR brings some trustless cross-chain support, leveraging the cross-chain messaging system of Polkadot. All right. So it means ASTAR is able to communicate with all these parachains inside the Polkadot ecosystem, and so is your smart contract. Right. ASTAR has also this innovative build-to-earn system that we call dApp staking, where any team who has produced a first application, a first proof of concept of application, can apply to dApp staking. And instead of staking to a validator, to staking to a liquidity pool, actually in ASTAR, users are staking on dApps, which means they are supporting their favorite projects built on ASTAR, right? For stakers, the rewards is always the same, but for developers, the more they stake on their dApp, the more they will earn, which makes it, in the end, sustainable for a small, blockchain team to make a living, basically just with dApp staking rewards. And you can avoid with this, imagine not having to do a token sale to make your project sustainable, but just being popular and get staked on. So we have the WebAssembly smart contract support, which is what we consider the future of smart contract, and the interoperability, compatibility between different smart contract environments. So WebAssembly smart contract and EVM smart contract. So this interoperability for multi-chain smart contract uses trustless protocols. It means you can rely on the smart contract codes without having to rely on the human. Well, that's the basic of a smart contract. I guess many of you know about this. And this is powered by Polkadot and its different parachains. The build to earn I had, so I will not be long. That's the dApp staking I just told you about. This is a reward system which is made by developers for developers. Developers are really the public we focus on. I said it, ASTAR is an infrastructure project, a smart contract project. So we want to bring in as many developers as possible, as many ideas as possible, so that users, in the end, don't even realize they are interacting with ASTAR network, actually. And yeah, these developers get basically rewarded and can even make a living on this dApp staking, right? So, next one. Yeah, as I said, we don't just want to have only Web3 developers. We want to onboard all this community of Web2 developers. There are many more people who know, name it JavaScript, Python, than people who know Solidity today. So Solidity is kind of a specialty reserved to some kind of elite. And with WebAssembly, actually, you can build a smart contract in any language that you will compile into WebAssembly and make it work on the chain. So we have a lot more possibilities with a lot more developers potentially building dApps on the top of ASTAR. So the cross-chain virtual machine, allows developer to seamlessly communicate between EVM smart contracts, because there are a lot of developers also doing smart contracts on the EVM side, and they can also switch in a reasonable manner to something more WebAssembly oriented, and still having, their DApp on the EVM side that is already built there, and the two environments communicate seamlessly with the XVM, so the cross virtual machine. A few words about our Japanese advantage. So ASTAR network is the most widely supported blockchain in Japan. You probably heard about it. Our CEO, Satoru Watanabe, is actually talking with many government officials. We get a lot of adoption in Japan. One example of a project, the Candy Girl. Ooh, that's my T-shirt. Candy Girl has been designed by the famous artist Yoshitaka Amano. For those of you who are, probably some of you are gamers, he designed a lot of the Final Fantasy, but he did much more than this. He's a very popular artist in Japan, and that brought actually a lot of attention from outside of the blockchain ecosystem, because people wanted their NFT designed by Mr. Amano. Like they're proud to own this. And yeah, I can say I'm also a proud owner of a Candy Girl. So ASTAR is the first, ASTAR has participated, to the first Web3 hackathon and co-sponsored by Toyota with ASTAR Network. The aim of this hackathon is actually to build Web3 tools to be used inside the Toyota company. And realize Toyota Motors company is like the biggest company of car manufacturer company in terms of number of employees. So we aim for mass adoption. We aim for real world adopting Web3 and not just being a circle of people knowing blockchain actually. From this hackathon we have over more than 400 participants. I think it's even 500 now. There is a lot of enthusiasm, and actually I'm not sure about the date if winners have already been selected, but I encourage you to check on it. ASTAR is also co-sponsoring the Web3 incubation program along with Sony. So we're trying to build some common ground of Web3 development with Sony, who has many projects in blockchain, by the way. So many things from the real world, many companies, real companies should actually be using more and more Web3. That's a tendency we see more and more, and especially in Japan. We want to leverage this at ASTAR. Right, so I guess that's all. The timing is pretty short. I'd be very happy to answer any of your questions. By the way, tomorrow I will be doing a smart contract workshop, so you will be able to experience the WebAssembly smart contract with us. There is even a little prize to get, so if you participate there, I will be happy to show you. Thank you, everyone.
Big round of applause for Ben, ASTAR Network. Any questions for Ben? Don't be shy. Now's the time. He doesn't really bite. Eh?
I don't.
Malik has a question.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was super interesting. I was wondering, you showed the NFTs by artists. So if we have projects that have, let's say, some people that have reputation in the real world, would you be interested in sort of hearing about them and how to bring them on chain?
Definitely. I mean, we are very, I think projects we build on ASTAR here can witness this. We are very supportive of the project we build in ASTAR. We also give ways to, do co-marketing with the team so that they get visibility inside the ecosystems and the partners we have. So definitely, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Got another question. If you have anyone else has questions, come on up so we can get you quick, and then we're going to move straight into our next presentation, which is I think our last one before lunch.
my question is in relation to NFT still. I have a friend of mine who is a photographer. Actually, he's my brother. Yeah, he's a photographer and he's been interested in the NFT space. I've been wanting to introduce him to the space, yet he's kind of skeptical and he doesn't know much about it. So I'm wondering, are you guys doing, like, do you have some kind of program to onboard people, especially if they create projects related to stories, and do you have incentives for them to build on, like, to launch their projects on ASTAR and related things? And if you do, is it something I can see you later and talk about with you?
So, is your question specifically about NFT projects or?
It's more of onboarding on ASTAR, like other
Uh-huh.
incentives. And is it something I can talk about with you? Like, how do you support your artists and related things? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, just a bit of context, ASTAR is not a NFT, especially chain, but definitely NFT is part of the project that build on ASTAR. So yeah, we have actually a lot of documentation, so you can just go to docs.astar.network. And if you guys have some questions about it, if you guys want to dive into it, well, I'm actually here for the duration of the event, so I'd be happy to help too.
Big thank you to Ben and ASTAR Network.
Thank
Big
you,
round of
everyone.
applause. Awesome. Thank you, sir. And our last presentation before lunch, I believe, and actually before the Kahoot game and then lunch, we have Lima from Nova Wallet. So please welcome him to the stage. We're going to hear about it. Here's your clicker, sir. Oh, and at the bottom button, yeah, that one. Great. Yeah. We need a second for technical difficulties. Please enjoy this commercial break from our sponsors.
Good morning, Kenya.
Good morning, Lima.
Super happy to be here. Big thanks to the Polkadot Safari, the Safari DAO team for organizing Polkadot Safari. It's amazing to be in Kenya with all of you in this amazing setting. So before I begin, it's pretty funny that me and Ryan from Subwallet have a very similar presentation about mass adoption of Polkadot through wallets. We just need Talisman here, and we'd have 3 of the same. Seems to be a few technical difficulties. Okay. We could do another meditation thing again. You haven't seen me dance.
But a promise or a threat?
Bit of both.
We put on ETH Safari last year with nothing but hotspots. We had built like an internet mast because we held ETH Safari like in the bush properly, and there was no net. And so we were like, we're gonna host it there. We don't care. We'll build a mast. So we spent, I don't know, like $6,000-7,000 building an internet mast at the venue, and we got the whole thing built. And on the morning of the event, the fiber cable that serves the entire region with network got cut by some construction work. And so the whole region was without internet. So we have like 300 something people in the bush for a conference and nothing but our hotspots. And we somehow managed to run a whole conference with hotspots. So props to SafariCom. This is not meant to be an advert for them, but I guess it worked. So this is nothing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Nova Wallet? Like as we wait for your slide deck, you can just give us the intro.
So Nova Wallet is a mobile-based wallet. We are on both iOS and Android. We focus on making the best possible user experience and making it so that mobile is not lesser than desktop. So everything that you can do on desktop, you can also do on Nova, such as interacting with dApps on every single chain, staking, governance, crowd loans. we recently just added Ethereum virtual machine support for Ethereum mainnets. And we're really believers that wallets are the key to mass adoption, because the first thing that people interact with when they join a new ecosystem is the wallet. So about 2 years ago, Nova Wallet started development. And at the time, in the Polkadot ecosystem, there was not really that many user-friendly wallets. Stuff like Polkadot.js extension is not very user-friendly. So wallets like Nova Wallet, Subwallet, and Talisman really help gain adoption in the ecosystem. Yeah, we should do some meditation, I think. Like 10 seconds breathing exercises. It really does. Hey, there we go. So as the title says, this presentation is for Nova Wallet, the ultimate mobile app for onboarding the next wave of Web3 users into Polkadot. And I'm Lima, Chief Nice Officer of Nova Wallet team. So for the people watching online, I want to go through some of the statistics and demographics of Kenya. So Kenya has quite a lot of percentage of mobile phone penetration. Everybody here has a mobile phone, and it's 98%. Whereas compared to desktop and laptop users, it's only less than 10%. So the market is definitely mobile focused. And you guys all know, probably you all use it, M-Pesa, the fintech product. So Kenya specifically is very well versed in using mobile applications to make payments. So the question is, what is the key to mass adoption of Polkadot and Web3 in general? Well, in our opinion, is the wallet. Because like I said, it's the first thing that users interact with. When you learn about Polkadot, you want to buy the DOT token, for example, and you need to store it somewhere. So, like I said, wallets are the entry point to the ecosystem. But they must be user-friendly. Like I said 2 years ago, there wasn't really that many user-friendly wallets, and it led to us having a bad reputation in the ecosystem. They must be truly multi-chain. If you look at Polkadot, we have all these connected parachains to the relay chain. We need to support all of those and have cross-chain transfers between all of these parachains. They must also be feature-rich. Like I said, we need to make experiences on mobile the same as desktop. So you need to have access to staking, governance, NFTs, transfers. And as Ryan said previously, there must be self-custodial. It's really important that you have self-custody of your assets, so that, for example, if there's an issue with your banks, like there was in the US recently, you don't lose access to your money. And Nova Wallet provides all of that and more on mobile. So we support over 65 Polkadot networks and Kusama networks, including both relay chains, solo chains, and parachains. And we support over 230 tokens, but that doesn't include our ERC20 support, where you can import any ERC20 token from Ethereum or Moonbeam. So we support over 250 cross-chain channels. So it's super important for our users to be able to transfer, for example, DOT from the Polkadot relay chain to these parachains like HydraDX and Interlay, or even between parachains themselves. And we allow users to do that even when there's not HRMP channels between the two chains. So staking is user-friendly and on-chain. It's super important that everybody is familiar with how staking works, and that they don't use CEXs to stake. For example, if you use something like Kraken to stake your DOT, you technically are giving custody of your DOT to Kraken, And if there's a problem with Kraken, you will lose access to your dot. Whereas with Nova, you can stake dot, KSM, and a bunch of other assets. And we're adding more and more every so often. So governance is something that's super important, and I'm really passionate about it. So for example, without governance, and specifically Open Gov on Kusama, there wouldn't be this event, right? So the Safari DAO team put forward a referendum, and the community voted in favor of it, which allowed this event to happen. So at Nova, we made a really user-friendly interface so that you can observe referendums, you can see referendums when they're live, you can see all the contextual information about them, and you can easily participate. So there's a very simple interface. You enter the amount of tokens, dot or KSM, move this slider to set your conviction, and press vote. And lastly, the feature that's the newest one is delegations. So with delegations, maybe you don't have time to review every single referendum, but you understand that governance is super important. So you can delegate your voting power, assign your voting power to an individual or group, and that individual or group might be an expert in a particular field, or just very active in governance. So for example, I delegate all of my KSM to the Chaos DAO group, and they basically review every single referendum democratically and vote on chain. So crowd learns are super important as well. I spoke to a few of you yesterday. So some of you that are thinking about making your own parachain, it's important to know that you don't actually need to seek like VC money to connect to the Polkadot relay chain or the Kusama relay chain. You can open a crowd loan and the community can bond their DOT or KSM tokens to you in return for a portion of your native token. It allows you to gather the capital to get the shared security from Polkadot or Kusama without needing to raise a lot of capital, which can be quite difficult. And on Nova, you can view your contribution history, and it gives you a nice countdown saying there's like 30 days remaining until you get your bonded DOT or KSM back, for example. And you can see all of your rewards and claim them. So we support all Polkadot dApps using both the Polkadot.js and MetaMask protocols. So for example, you can connect to HydraDX's Omnipool, you can connect to Interlay's vaults, Bitcoin vaults, or you can use Moonbeam, which is an Ethereum virtual machine chain, through the MetaMask protocol. And like I said, we recently added support for EVM networks, starting with the Ethereum mainnet, and soon we will add support for Polygon and for the ExoSama EVM chain. You can search for any dApp in the ecosystem using our dApp browser, and some community favorites are basically pinned in a catalog, and you can manage and favorite them. So this is the summary. So we also support NFTs. Right now, it's NFTs on the Uniques palette, as well as Remark 1.0 and 2.0 NFTs. We will add support for Ethereum NFTs shortly, like ERC721 tokens. We are compatible with, for example, Talisman's dApp as well, and stuff like the Polkadot staking dashboard, so you can join nomination pools with Nova. So what's next for Nova? So nomination pools, as we've discussed here, are super important. It lowers the barrier to entry for staking DOT tokens from about currently 370 tokens to just 1 token. We just finished our EVM support, so all of our Q1 agenda is done on the roadmap. But we're going to upgrade our UI because we need everything to be as user-friendly as possible, and we will improve our UI on multiple screens based on community feedback. We'll also add stuff like multi-sig support for some kind of power users who really want to use multi-sigs on the go, as well as more cross-chain features, staking options, NFT support, and more. So I invite you all, let's build together. So you guys are all building like nice dApps or blockchains. Nova can be a way that you can get interactions with users using our front end, they can then interact with your products. So if you want to join the Nova community, feel free to scan the QR code. You can also submit feature requests to our Canny page. So every community member can put forward requests, such as, I want Ethereum support. So we listen to that and implement these features that people request. And I think that is my short and sweet presentation. Thank you for listening.
Wow. Nice presentation, man. Really cool. Any questions about Nova Wallet?
I have an answer for a previous question.
He doesn't even need your questions. He's got questions of his own that he's ready to pre-answer. You guys just sit back, relax.
There was a question given to Ryan about onboarding, specifically fiat onboarding, like the minimum amount being 5 DOT. So that's really not up to the wallet teams themselves. That's the fiat on-ramp partners. But I think myself and my team, and probably the sub-wallet team, will approach those companies and try to get them to lower the amount of DOT that you have to buy to be able to get into the eco.
That's an interest.
Yeah, banks are yet.
That's an interesting idea, but also maybe, who knows, maybe there's a way that like groups of people can come together and do that on-ramp together and then distribute among. So 5 people come together, set up their wallets, and they do it one bulk transaction, and could be another way.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Fits in maybe with some of the other kind of community-based ideas.
Yeah, like in Cointer.
Like in Cointer, perhaps. Look at this new partnership. I'll take my commission on the side.
We do
no
support
worries.
in Cointer, so
Yeah,
it's good.
I accept all forms of ERC20, Polkadot, you name it. Doesn't matter. Be flexible. Any more questions for Nova Wallet? Our question master. He's going to win the award that we hadn't yet created for best and most questions.
Don't make the question
You
too
guys
hard.
didn't even know we had such an award. I didn't either.
Thank you so much. No, it's just that it lands in my field, like passion. But I would like to ask for Nova. There is something that I was reading about on Polkadot that